In fish, there's a vast ocean of rods. Some are good, some are okay, some are horrible, and some are amazing. But you need to know where to get these rods, how to get them, and if they are any good whatsoever. If you enjoy this video, feel free to like and subscribe. It greatly helps me out and motivates me to make more of these videos in the near future. On to the video! So we are here in Fish, and this part is mainly for the beginners. So if you're a beginner, but if you're new, if you're beginning the game, this is the part for you. So like everyone else who started their fish journey, you are going to spawn on Moosewood. Moosewood is pretty cool. You got a pond over here, you got your little shipwreck guy, you got the docks where you can fish, and a lot of other stuff that you can buy later in the game. Now this isn't a general guide, this is a rod guide, so I'm not going to tell you what to do when you spawn, but save up a little bit of money. You're going to see all these rods over here. You got the lucky rod, you got the fast rod, you got the carbon, you got the plastic, you got the training, you got the flimsy, which is the one you start off with. Now there are a lot of rods here, and I can get why this could be confusing, as someone could go up to these rods and be like, oh, this costs the most, which means it's best. My mistake, guys, this rod was not the best. So what's the best rod here? Well, in simple terms, it is the carbon rod, and as you can see, I don't even have it because I didn't know this at the time I started playing. You have minus 10% lure speed, 25% luck, 0.05 control, 10% resilience, and a max kilograms of 600. Now the reason why this rod is good is because it's very good if you're starting out and you don't really know the fishing system, as the 10% resilience will help you catch most things, as well as a nice little bonus of 600 kilograms, allowing you to catch more legendaries and mythics. So once you have 2000, I would recommend getting this rod, the carbon rod. It is very good in my opinion, and after that you are going to grind with it for a while at least. So you're probably going to be at Moosewood for a while, so when you get enough money and you are the level required to get a boat, you are going to go to this guy. Talk to this guy, and you are going to either want to buy the rowboat or the surfboard to get to the next rod. In my case, I'm just going to get there really quick with the jet ski, so for the next rod, let's go to Rooslet Bay. So now that we are at Rooslet, this is actually one of my favorite areas, as I spent a lot of time as a beginner here, as this is a very good spot for money as well when you are a low level. But basically, it's just like Moosewood. You got the shipwright, the merchant, and you got some guys over there. This is where it gets interesting. You have all these rods. You have the rapid rod, the steady rod, and the fortune rod. Again, I made a mistake and I bought the wrong rod because I didn't know which one was the best when I started playing, and I wanted to buy a rod here. So there's obviously not much to choose from here compared to Moosewood, but it's very simple, and this one is actually a pretty good bonus. Basically, out of all these rods, you are going to want to buy the steady rod. Obviously, you see, I bought it because I used it a lot compared to the other rod I got at Moosewood. So if we go in our equipment bag and look for steady, as you can see, steady is right here, and I only have 6,000 fish on it given, but I was very new at the game, and it does have a slow lure speed, so you can't blame me. But the stats are going to come in at negative 60% lure speed, 35% luck, 0.05 control, 30% resilience, and a max kilograms of 100 kilograms. Why did I add kilograms to that? And on top of that, it comes with a buff that it increases the shake UI size. So for example, this is the normal shake size for any other rod, and if we equip steady rod and we just cast it real quick, it gains a massive size, which is really nice for catching fish, as it's negative 60%. Now, the reason why this rod is so good is because combined with its control and resilience allows you to catch any mythic or legendary really easily. 30% resilience is a lot of resilience, guys. On top of that, it has a max kilograms, again, of 100,000, which is basically infinite because you can't catch anything over that. Or maybe a giant megalodon is more than 100k. I actually don't know. So you can still catch every fish in the game, which is really good when you get this rod. Another good thing about it is it's only 7k, so it's triple the amount of the carbon rod, which should be pretty easy to get if you get lucky with your mythics and stuff. Now, in my opinion, I would say you should be stuck with this rod until you get more to the mid-game and end-game rods, but I've seen some people get the I've seen some people get other rods, such as the new relic rod that came out last week, which the reason why I wouldn't do this is because yes, it has good all-around stats, but the problem is the max kilograms is kind of low. If you want to catch really big fish, I really wouldn't use this, and I don't even think you can get it anymore. I'm not completely sure. But yeah, if I was you, I would stick with steady until we get to the mid-game / end-game rods, and that is what I'm about to explain. So let's get right into that. So, you played a little bit, you got a little bit of money, like 100, 120k, maybe 150k, and now you're wondering what to do. You're wondering what rod to get, you're wondering what's next on your fish journey. Now, in my opinion, there's only really 2 mid-game rods that I guess you can call mid-game, those being the mythical rod and the trident rod. I know what you guys are thinking. Trident rod should be an endgame, right? Well, a couple days ago, I would say yes, this rod was an endgame as it's very good all around and it has a good bonus. But the problem is with the 12 plus new rods, one of them beat Trident, and there's also a lot of other rods that in my opinion are most definitely better than Trident. So, I'm just gonna move down Trident to mid game. I know some of you might be mad about this, but this is just my opinion as a level 400. So the first rod we are going to talk about is the mythical rod. This thing is bought for 110k at any traveling merchant. They're not really rare. They spawn every 30-40 minutes and have a chance to sell it. Now the stats on this are okay, I guess. So for the mythic rod we have 0% lure speed, 45% luck, 0.05 control, 0% resilience, and a max kilograms of 2000. Now obviously the best enchant on this would be resilient, so you don't miss any fish. So if you're going to go for an enchant, always get resilient on this bad boy. Now the thing with this rod is it says blessed with the power of the keepers, all fish have a 30% chance to be rainbow, which means every time you catch a fish there's a 30% chance that fish will be mythical. That multiplies its value by 4.5. So if you catch a mythical colossal squid, that's going to be worth like 20k, and the higher the mythics, the more they sell for, and if they have that mutation, they're going to sell for ×4 of that. Now this rod is obviously very good, but you're going to have to choose between the mythical and the trident rod, and I'll show you what I prefer in a second. So I do have a decent amount of fish with this rod. This rod treated me very, very well when I played. I love this rod a lot. Its lure speed is a little bit annoying compared to the endgame rods, but I dealt with it. So, it's pretty good. I like it, but now we have to talk about the other one, which is the trident rod. Now with the trident rod, I have caught 3,100 fish, and these are its stats. 20% lure speed, 150% luck, 0 control, 0% resilience, and a max kilograms of 6,000. Now, what makes this thing special is it has a 30% chance to be Atlantean, which multiplies the fish for ×3. So it's similar to the mythical rod. The thing is about this rod, it also has another ability that has a chance to stab a fish while catching it, which stuns it and increases the bar progress. So this basically means you don't need the resilience enchantment and you can get something else on it. Now, I have tested with this. People still do get resilience on this because the fish does still move around a lot, so you need to have some skill in order to catch high mythics and high legendaries. I'll show you what this buff looks like right now. The cool thing about it is if you have rapid catchers and the hasty enchantment, which in my opinion hasty is going to be the best for this, so get hasty on it. If you do get the trident rod, you can just cast and it's going to be a single catch, as you can see. Now as you can see, I'm not going Now as you can see, it's going to stun the fish, as you can see, and it's also going to increase the progress bar whenever you see that little slash thing. So if I let it out, you're going to see there you go, right there, it's going to briefly increase the progress bar and stun it, which is a really good ability. So that's pretty cool for Trident. On top of that, it has triple the luck of Mythic Rod. So what rod are you gonna get? In my opinion, you are going to get the Trident Rod. Now, I'm not gonna lie, in my previous video, Ultimate Rod Progression Guide, I picked Mythic because I used it most and it treated me better than Trident. But with more testing and more use, I would probably go Trident just because it's more fun to use as you can catch faster. It has more luck, which makes you catch mythics easier. So if you are going to choose between the two and you are mid game, I'd get the trident rod. The thing is, there's not much to say about mid game because a lot of people just kind of go straight from early game to end game, or that was my scenario, which was really weird. Now obviously there's a lot more rods to factor in, such as the new crafting rods, but I'm not even gonna lie, I went over them as level 400. Like at this stage, if you're level 400, you wouldn't have to worry about the crafting rods because I can only craft 5 and I'm end game already, and I already have the best rod in the game, so it doesn't really matter. But at your stage, when you reach mid game and you have the funds to purchase either trident or mythic, you're probably gonna have none of the rods unlocked, maybe one, and the one is really bad compared to those two. So the crafting rods are kind of just out of the picture at this point because they are all horrible, unless except the level 751. But at that point, you don't need this tutorial. You shouldn't be on this if you're level 750. You shouldn't be watching this. Now I do want to point out for the trident rod, it does cost an additional 40,000 to buy as well if you have no friends and you're a little newbie. Now I do want to point out for the trident rod, it is an additional 40,000 to buy, as well as needing the complete Desolate Deep Bestiary to open like a door, as well as 5 enchant relics. Now someone else can open the door for you, but if you are opening the door on your own, you have to factor in an extra 50,000 for the enchant relics, which makes it 200,000. Again, I said this in my old video, it's literally kind of just personal choice. They are very close to each other in terms of like I guess goodness. So yeah, get whatever you want. It doesn't really matter until you get to the end game rods, which I'm about to talk about right now. I also want to mention, I know I am not including a lot of the rods, but that's kind of because I'm only including the ones that you should go for. The other rods, they don't count. If you guys want like all information on the rods video or whatever, tell me please in the comments. I'll make it or whatever. But anyways, let's get on to the end game rods. So now we are getting into the end game slash like pro rods or whatever you want to call it. These rods are for the best players in Fish and have nothing else to buy and want the best rod in the game to see how powerful it is. Now, unfortunately, in my opinion, there's kind of only 3 endgame rods, and one is fairly easy to get and the other 2 are just overly almost impossible to get. So yeah, so we might as well go over the first one that you can buy. So the first one that is obtainable and the one I use the most is going to be the Rod of the Depths. Now if we go to the Rod of the Depths in my inventory, we can see a massive increase in fish, as I have almost 11,000, or well, not almost, I just got 10,000 fish caught on this fella. Now this guy is super good. If we look at the stats, we got 65% lure speed, 130% luck, 0.15 control, so the same as King's Rod if you know what that is, 10% resilience, and a max kilograms of 30,000. So this thing can catch anything in the game other than the Megalodon. Unfortunately, it used to be able to catch it until they upped the kilograms of it. So the good thing about this rod is that it can have multiple enchantments on it, or whatever you want to call them. For me, I use Clever Rod of the Depths to level up really fast, as well as the 2x XP game pass that makes it ×4, so that's really helpful for me. But the best enchant on this rod currently for everyone baseline is the Abyssal enchant. If you didn't know, that enchant has a 10% chance to make a fish Abyssal, which multiplies it for ×3.5 its original value. That makes it very good, so it's kind of like the Trident, just like buffed. Now obviously it must have something special, and as you can see in the back of my screen, we have like a ghost-like stance that of my avatar. The Rod of the Depths special thing is it multiplies or clones a fish every 3 catches. The good thing about this is it has a feature where it can catch fish that you don't have discovered, so it's really good for the bestiary. On top of that, it can clone mythics, events, legendaries, almost everything. I'll show you guys that real quick. Alright, so this is my 3rd catch. Let's just catch this fish real quick and show you what it does. So as you can see, the bar is full and it generates me a fish. Obviously, I didn't get lucky. I only got an unusual this time. But every 3rd catches, it would generate a 3rd fish, which is really good. And on top of that, it has a chance to also be Abyssal. So, you know, that's pretty goated. So the requirements for this rod are an Abyssal enchant relic, a Hexed enchant relic, and 750,000, so it is a big increase from the trident or the mythical rod. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Rod of the Depths. I think it is the #1 rod in the game. It might have competition with the level 750 rod, as I know it catches a meg every 5 perfect catches. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the rods I like a lot and the rods I don't have, because these are so endgame, but these are really good. So that's why I consider them endgame. They compete with Rod of the Depths too. So let's get right into that. So I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I don't even have the next rod I'm gonna talk about right now, but I am 50 levels away from it. So I'm so hyped to get it. We are going to talk about the no life rod. Now, I'm gonna say it right now, this rod is not better than Rod of the Depths. It is really cool to have though. I want this rod so bad. I'm gonna put the stats up for you right now. So we have 90% lure speed, which is insane, 100% luck, which is really good, 0.25 control, which is insane, 15% resilience, infinite kilograms. This rod is insane, guys. On top of that, its 2 bonus effects is that it does the Trident's rod slash ability. The line is just like red or black, I'm not sure, and it has a chance to do a fish, that is not what I meant. On top of that, it has a chance to multiply a fish and give it a mutation called Hex that makes itself for times 1.5, so it's not really a lot, but I really don't know, man. I consider this rod better. My friends say it's not better, but I can't really test it until I have it, which I will have it in a couple of days. But as you can see from the stats, this rod is a very solid rod. It looks butt cheeks though. I don't know who designed this. This looks ass. I'm sorry, guys. But very good rod. I would recommend using it if you do have it. It's cool to have, and it's a flex. There's not much I can say about this because I don't have it myself. But yeah, if you get this and you're level 500, I'd use it just because money shouldn't be a problem for you at that level, and it's still gonna generate you a decent amount of money. And on top of that, you're never gonna lose a fish with this, as it has 0.25 control, so you should be good. I'm planning to do a video on it when I get it, so that'll probably come out on Friday or Saturday. I'm gonna be posting a few videos this weekend, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm about to move on to a rod again that I don't have that seems to be very good. So yeah, let's move on. Another thing, I know I mentioned this rod is getting by getting level 500. All right, let's move on. Now, the final rod we are going to be talking about is the rod you get for level 750, super pro. This is like super mega level endgame type stuff. It is the Rod of the Forgotten Fang. I think that's what it's called. This thing is crazy, bro. It catches a Megalodon every 5 catches, every perfect catches, if they're 5 in a row. Hey, Edit and Explodo here. I just wanted to say the Rod of the Forgotten Fang doesn't actually catch a Megalodon every 5 casts. It dupes a fish like Rod of the Depths. Okay, bye. Now, let me just pull up the stats for the rod real quick. So, once again, I would argue that this rod definitely isn't really better than Rod of the Depths, but it is still super cool to have. And again, if you're level 750, you shouldn't be watching this video, bro. You're already crazy at the game. So, its lure speed is 45%, which is decent. Its luck is 125%, which is really good. Its control is 0.2, which is also really good, and its resilience is 25%, which is really good, as well as having infinite kilograms, which is just a nice added bonus. Now, we can see on the bottom, it says, after 5 perfect catches, trigger a special mode where a Meg jumps out the deeps with a higher tier fish, boasting a 15% 20% size buff. So as well as catching a Meg every 5 perfect catches, you also catch another high tier fish that is 15 to 20% bigger. This rod is definitely insane. Although I haven't seen it been used in action, I definitely know it is super overpowered, and they're doing some buffs and nerfs this upcoming quality of life changes update, so maybe they'll lower the level for this, which would be super nice. I can't really say anything about enchantments. I would probably recommend looking at the stats just based off. I would probably go hasty just because you can instantly catch, so probably hasty would be the best for this. So obviously its special buff is that it catches a Meg every 5 perfect catches, so it's not going to be multiplied by anything, and it also has that dupe ability in a way, which is really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all the endgame rods that I would recommend. Obviously there is more, but they're not really that good. Yeah, I would recommend using Rod of the Depths first, No Life Rod second, and then Rod of the Forgotten Fang third if you're just endgame super endgame. But yeah, those are the endgame rods. So that is my rod video guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is a long video. I try to keep it short, but you know, I just wanted you guys to get my professional opinion on the rods and such. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to make it look good because this is a revamp of my most popular video on this channel in like 5 years. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have anything to say, leave it in the comments. Give me more video ideas, things like that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this outro short because I don't want to waste any of y'all's time. So thank you for watching till the end. I will see you guys all later. Peace out, everyone. Have a good day / night wherever y'all are. Bye.